everyone, welcome to our bonus episode for this week. We've got a very special episode, don't we? I'm Gemma.
I'm Michael.
And we're excited because they've just announced the opening of the exhibition space at the Coronation Street, the tour.
It's really, really exciting. Coronation Street, go on.
You guys know we love going on the tour. We've talked about it before. Mm-hmm. It's really exciting. And every time we've been, there's been something new to see.
Yes.
Including the exhibition space, which is going to be changing all the time.
Yeah.
So to celebrate, we're doing our top 5 reasons why you need to go on the Coronation Street tour.
It's absolutely worth it. We've been on it again just recently and it really was a fantastic experience. It was a glorious day, which helped, but even if it had been bucketed it down, we would have really, really had a fantastic time. Honestly,
I think every time we've been, it's been better than the time we went before, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So because we've been, and we want you guys to go too, because we really like it so much.
I'd say that this last time that we've been is the peak, but with all this new stuff opening, I think we're just going to have to go again sometime. But we did get a little sneak peek of some of the things they've got in store that they've now announced. So we're going to be chatting about that later as well.
Right, so we'll go on to the top 5 reasons, shall we?
Let's do it.
Right, so these are in no particular order.
No.
These are just 5 reasons. The first reason is the chance to step on the hallowed cobbles of Coronation Street.
I can't stress enough just how special it is to be able to get a chance to go on to those cobbles of Coronation Street. Even though we've been on there ourselves quite a few times, every time we go on there, it's
just lovely, isn't it? It's like going home.
It is. It really feels like that. It's magical. And I first went on the Coronation Street tour back in the 90s when it was a Granada Studios tour, and I think I didn't quite appreciate it then as a young whippersnapper. But ever since going on the old Key Street tour when it reopened 10 odd years ago, and now the Media Cities tour, it's just it's indescribable. We'll try and describe it, but being able to step into the world that you've been watching on the TV for, in my case, 25 plus years. It is. You're right about saying it's like home.
It's so familiar, but it's also seeing it from a different perspective is kind of mind-boggling as well.
Yeah.
So the way that the tour works at the moment, you work your way up to getting onto the main part of Coronation Street. So you'll go through round the back way. To the station, the police station. Mm-hmm. Then you get to see the precinct. Then you go round and you go Victoria Street, and you get to see the gardens. And then you go onto Rosamond Street, and then it's Coronation Street.
Yeah, and this is all different for us this time because we've done the tour plenty of times before, but it was brilliant this time that it was a different trip, and it makes a big difference keeping it fresh for us. But I honestly think that the way they've got it the moment, it builds up really nicely to the street. I mean, going on the old Key Street tour when we went back in, when was it, 2014 odd, it was special going in some of the inside sets and then ending up in the bistro before the doors open, and then you got the street there in front of you. And the anticipation, the build up to that moment of stepping out onto the cobbles was fantastic. And there's a kind of, it's really similar to that now, isn't it? Because you go round, like you said, the police station. You start off in the car park, don't you?
Yeah, and you get to see the Tony Warren building, which is actually where they do the indoor filming in the studios. There are 4 studios, and you also have the dressing rooms and the production areas. Canteen, but the front of that is the hospital set, the exterior of the hospital.
It's just so cool to think about. That's the place where all of these characters and cast members have walked down. Yeah. It's just their work for them.
I know.
But being able to be in the same space there where all this magic happens is amazing.
One of the things that I really enjoy about the set tour is being able to see the ingenious ways that the Corrie team use the space that they have and how they can dress different areas up to look like different locations. And it's just so ingenious, this kind of really clever use of space.
Well, one of the ones that we found out today was about what they do with Gary's furniture shop, wasn't it? And this is something that we hadn't ever been told or even considered before. I hadn't even thought about
it, because that wall where his shop is just a wall. There's no interior.
No. But you see inside it when Gary or Fizz or whoever are working in there. On occasion, we don't get to see it much.
Outside,
but what you actually
bunch of weird crap inside.
The way that they work that is that there's been a little extra bit built onto the back of that, which on the other side is the Weatherfield Halal North warehouse place that Ken and Stu went to last year. And we saw that last year when we went on the set tour. We saw the outside of it, but never put two and two together to think, oh, so Gary's furniture shop is filmed inside there. And it really is, like you said, a neat use of space. Even the precinct, which I think we'll come on to later, is just neatly tucked round the corner, isn't it? And I mean, there is still place to hopefully build into as well for future set expansions. But yeah, going around the Weatherfield police station is great, and Victoria Street and everything, because that's a fairly recent addition. But building up to the triumphant, stepping onto the cobbles of Coronation Street, that's what people are really there for, isn't it? That's the main draw. And every time, no matter how many times we've been there, it still feels really, really special. Get a little shiver as you walk around the corner and see the Rovers there.
I also like the fact that they've added some interiors. I don't know whether they're going to change depending on whether the sets are being used or open some different ones. But when we went on our tour, we got to see inside the community centre.
Yes.
For the first time in months. I think it was on screen at some point this year previously. But before then, obviously, it was the relocation of Underworld. Mm-hmm. And then...
Well, yeah, just recently... in
COVID,
the past year, they had, Griff's speech was there, wasn't it?
That's it, yeah. That's what I was thinking of, yeah.
And yeah, so this was something that we'd not seen on the tour before. But yeah, when you go down Victoria Street, you can go into the community centre. You can't walk all the way around inside there, obviously, because people would tamper with the sets and everything.
Oh yeah, these naughty tamperers.
So there's barriers just through the door, but you can see plenty. You can put your camera around and everything.
Yeah, you can put your camera right in there, and you can see the bulletin board and all the books and the children's playthings.
Yeah, and we saw something there that's set up for future storylines as well, isn't it?
That's another exciting thing. Eagle-eyed viewers, if you really look around, you'll probably see a spoiler or two, because the exterior of Coronation Street is almost a character in itself, and every so often there'll be a little clue to something that's going on. Like, for example, oh look, the scaffolding's still there.
I can't believe the scaffolding is still there. What is going on with that? There was even more scaffolding for us today, because there was a bit of building work going on the set. I mean, they were just kind of...
They're giving a nice lick of paint to the Rovers, and also Billy's flat.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing there with Billy's flat down at the entrance.
The rendering on the exterior, they were doing that up to make it look nice.
Scaffolding fans, we've still got that for a little bit longer. But yeah, so we got to see inside the community centre, which was great. We'd never even been in there before.
We had been through the back of it.
Oh yeah, we had. You're right. We had a little look there before. I'd forgotten about that. And we'd also been in the Prima Donna before. But that was still great, being able to step in there through the front door. You could go right inside Prima Donna. There was nothing kind of blocking you off.
The ketchup
in that. I even did that.
How irresponsible!
And then also Preston's Petals. We went into today. These are the three main sets that film inside, out on the actual street itself. Most of the other of them aren't. Houses are in studio.
I think the only other place that might be possible to look into is the very front of Roy's Rolls, because there is a tiny amount of set there, because when the door gets opened, they have dressed it so that you can see the partition wall and maybe some chairs and tables, but most of that's not in there.
No, and it's difficult to see in there as well, because there are blinds and everything.
Yeah, that's why most people on Corrie will always have their blinds closed, because on the set, with the exterior of the set, everybody's got their curtains closed.
Yeah. So we got to see all that. And then I also took a look through a few letterboxes. Actually, I'll say a few. I was very nosy. I looked down almost all the letterboxes down the street, and some of them you could sort of recognise. There's a table with a telephone on, or whatever, or stairs. But then there's also a few. A lot of them are just empty spaces, of course, with a few chairs and things thrown in. But it's really fascinating, and just as I say, lovely to be on the place that's in the TV show that's been my most watched show ever.
I don't think it's possible to be a Coronation Street fan and it not be almost like it's 3 hours a week.
Yeah, and just being able to see all the little details that you don't pick up on screen, like the little flowers and the signs and the window display in the cabin, which when we went there this week was set up for Father's Day, because that's how far in advance they're filming.
Yes, and you get to see inside Kevin's garage too. You get to look at all the details inside that set, because although it's shown quite often, you're usually focused on what people are saying, but you get to probably look at all the tours. There's loads of how much money are those tours worth?
Yeah,
no wonder they got security guards everywhere.
And we got to see round the back where Stephen dragged Leo's body.
Yes, you didn't used to be able to go round that bit. I don't.
No, I don't think so.
But now, because it's a significant location in the story of the show, you'll be able to see that bit. So that's what we're saying when we're talking about how it evolves. There's always something different, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's our first reason, just the chance to be in this really special place. It's honestly, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And if you haven't been yet, you really need to. Let's move on to our second point.
Okay.
So our second reason why you need to go on the Coronation Street tour is the fabulous tour guides. In fact, all the staff that work there are so lovely, aren't they? And helpful and welcoming to the guests who are coming on the street. We had Rory as our tour guide on our last visit, who does listen to the podcast as well. So hello, Rory.
Hi.
But
he's so lovely.
Yeah, but we've had plenty of other tours there, and every single one has.
Yes. Every time we've been.
Yeah, all been fantastic.
The people that do it are so enthusiastic. They're always fans of the show. They will tailor the tour to like incorporate things that have happened in recent episodes.
Yeah, that's what I really appreciated. And when we talked about the fact that the tour was taking us on a slightly different route this time, but including going around the back of the factory where Stephen dragged Leo's body, and that got incorporated into it. And it was really bang up to date. Even when we talked on the podcast after it happened about when Paul stole that car outside of Seb's wall and then getting his puncture outside the precinct, that was all part of the script. So it's always kind of fresh and updated, so that the people who come on the
significant
tour,
locations are pointed out to you, and they'll give you some kind of insider secrets about how sometimes things are filmed. And we even found out a couple of new things. Like, I didn't realise that above Victoria Gardens, those little panels are removable so that the cameramen can get inside and film there. I also didn't know that somebody has to hold a piece of black cloth behind the gates of the Victoria Court parking area so that it doesn't look like...
There's lots of really fascinating filming insights that you get. But it's not just that. It's a mixture of that and kind of reminiscing about the past. Like, do you remember when such and such happened here? And here's the Rovers. Who remembers the very first landlord and landlady at the Rovers? There's some nice audience interaction, isn't there?
Yeah.
We were on a fairly small tour group, which was quite nice and intimate. It meant we got a chance to step out and talk to Rory every now and then. But
there were also loads of people we hung around for a few other tours, and some of them were big, so you get to sort of wander around and see lots of different parts, and the tour guides will, if you ask them a question, they'll probably know the answer.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you go on the tour, make sure to make good use of their encyclopedic knowledge about the show, and they'll have some good insights, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I just they give you plenty of time. There are bits where they kind of shepherd you around and point out various bits. But then, for example, when you go to the precinct or when you get into Victoria Street and everything, you get a chance to have a wander around yourself.
Yeah,
and that's when you can chat to them. And
they're
just all really friendly.
Yes,
and funny is like part of it's making you laugh, part of it's kind of surprising you with shocking facts and
or like really interesting production tidbits and things like that. So they will also ask you questions about what you like and what kind of things. So if you sort of make a point of, this is my favourite story, this is my favourite character, they might be able to give you some little details. They might also quiz you on your knowledge about who lives where, so maybe it's worth...
make sure you bone up on that before you go on the tour.
The nice thing about it too is that the scripts get updated, so they'll probably... improvise some of the bits, but there is a script that's written, so you know that you're always going to get the latest up to date.
Yeah, and they're similar, but they can go off piece a little bit because, as you said, we kind of hung around and listened to a few bits of other tours later in the day after our one, and I certainly heard a few of the tour guides sort of saying things in a different way or adding facts that other people didn't get. So it's nice that the tour guides are given the freedom to put their own spin on it.
Yeah, that's right. And also, they will take photos if you're there, as a couple or as a group and you want everyone to be in the picture. They'll come and take a photo of you. Yeah. You can buy photos that are professionally taken.
Yeah, outside the Rovers they do some, don't they?
But the really nice thing I like about this tour is that sometimes when there'll be an attraction like this where there's a photo opportunity, they won't let you take your own pictures because they want to sell you the professional ones. But here, they're quite happy to take a photo for you outside the Rovers. That's not a professional one, but I will say it's a really great souvenir if you want to get one.
Yeah,
because you get it printed out. That's the thing. How many photos have you got at home that you've printed out? I bet you hardly any.
Yeah.
And it's such a bloody faff now because you got to get it sent to Tesco or whatever and then go down there, whereas this is all printed out in a nice little presentation.
Yeah, we had a chat with some of the photographers today, didn't we? And they also said that you get a QR code for seeing a digital version
yeah,
as
so
well.
you can put that on your Instagram.
Yeah, we had a lovely chat with them. We also chatted with one of the security guards there, didn't we? Stella, the security guard. We were kind of loitering around after one of the tour groups had moved on today, and we went and had a chat to her. Lovely as well.
She's lovely. Yeah. Everybody is just, I tell you, the weather probably helped. Everyone was in a good mood. It was a good day, but yeah, she was just really friendly, and she enjoys working on Corrie, and she does the tour, but she also does other stuff for the street and.
Well, really and again, clearly a fan of Coronation Street. So we had a chat with her about what storylines she's enjoying at the moment. We talk about the Stephen story.
I just want to say we brought, or people did bring up to us, Stephen's storyline, and it's so mixed, the reaction. One person we spoke to was like, I'm loving the Stephen storyline, and then another person was like, I hate Stephen so much. That's why I love Corrie, because everyone's got a different opinion.
Yeah. So when we went back in from the tour, we went into the visitors centre and had a chat with Dave, who was one of the tour guides. Not our tour guide this time, but he has taken us round before. And actually, way back in the early days of the podcast, I'm going to say it was probably the very first trip that we went up to Manchester to see the old Quay Street tour. I think we interviewed him then as well. But he was really kind and sat down with us upstairs in the visitors centre to talk again about his experience of being a tour guide. So for you guys, we're going to cut to that now. So here's Dave again. So joining me today is Dave Owen, Coronation Street, the tour's longest-serving tour guide, who's kindly agreed to chat with me today about his time here, working at Media City on the tour, and even his time back in the Quay Street set. So, David, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again,
Welcome back to the podcast after all these years. How are you doing?
Oh, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Lovely day for this.
Gorgeous. You brought some with you, that's nice.
We did. So you've been working as a guide on Coronation Street, the tour, for longer than anyone else. What inspired you to become a Corrie tour guide, and how did you get the job?
It was in 2014 initially, and I'd finished work. I was made redundant I worked in a factory for nearly 30 years, got made redundant from that. And unfortunately my father passed away just before Christmas. Once we knew Mum was going to be okay, I started looking for work. There was a connection between Dad and the old Coronation Street set at Quay Street at Granada Television, because my dad worked as a performer at the Granada Studios tour. Yeah. And it was at the same time in January 2014 that they were bringing in the new tour before they demolished the set. Yeah. And I thought it'd be nice to possibly, follow in his footsteps. Applied, got the job, started there, and I did all the way through from March 2014 until December 2015.
How do you find the experience leading those tours at the old Quay Street set compares to here in Media City?
Obviously, it's the same content because it's Coronation Street. In those days, it was like the old studio that we did the tour around, and then they had free roam Coronation Street for as long as you wanted. Here, because we've no access to the studio, because with them being current, we just take them around the actual set. But it's the same kind of concept. We're stopping in certain places, delivering narrative, facts and figures, memories, especially for the older people. The Cotswolds of old ladies from Scotland and Wales, they're brilliant. Yeah.
What keeps you coming back after all these years? How's it still keeping fresh for you?
It always will do. What's not to love?
Well, quite.
Yeah.
Do you get many repeat visitors as well?
Oh yeah, yes, I've seen quite a number. They said, "Oh, you did our tour in 2018 when they first came in to do the media assistant." Then, "Oh, you did my tour at Key Street," and all that. Yeah, it's quite good. They actually recognise me because I didn't have the beard in them days.
Yeah, of course. How do you keep it fresh for those people who've seen it before?
Well, because I've got so many memories, I can throw little bits in myself from what I remember growing up. Because my first memory of Coronation Street, I can just about remember Jack Walker.
Wow, that's going back a way.
Yeah, that's going back a long time, 1970.
Yeah.
I was just coming up to 5, give me a head away now, answer. Just coming up to 5, I just about remember Jack Walker, because I always used to get him mixed up with Albert Tatlock, because they wore the same glasses.
Exactly what you mean.
Same kind of glasses.
Yeah. So what have been some of your favourite additions to the sets over the years? Because that's another thing that we've noticed, because we've done the tour so many times as well. It always feels new to us.
Yeah, well, we get this year. We've got the precinct on tour, because we saw it actually being built last year. So that was good to see. So we've got the precinct. We can go inside the police station, and there's 1 or 2 of the other sets where they film inside. They've opened up this time as well. Yeah. Because during the months after COVID, when we reopened last year, nothing actually was open. But we can now actually go into places again. Yeah. So that's good news.
Yeah, the precinct was great for us, because we saw that on screen earlier this year, January when it first appeared. So have you got any kind of favourite details in that area that you like to point out?
I like the quirky names. I mean, you've got that dessert emporium called Sweet Enough.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got the James Bond themed chippy as well, of course, near the medical centre for your fries only. Yeah. Oh, it's just brilliant.
Yeah. How have the tour visitors been reacted to seeing this particular bit of the set, the precinct? Like, do they recognise it?
Yeah, when we come down from the police station, I mean, we're actually breaking records there, because it's supposed to be about another mile or so away from the police station, and we're doing a mile in about 20 seconds. We're faster than Usain Bolt. In fact, that's how we do it on the actual tour. It's all good. Yeah, good. Yeah, they, when they see it, say, "Oh yeah, we saw this earlier this year." So they're telling it's brand new, even though it's supposed to have been there for like 60 years.
Yeah. That must be, in the early stages, it must have been a bit difficult talking to the guests about it, because it's featured so rarely on screen. So have you kind of evolved the script as the months have gone on?
Oh yes, because every time it's mentioned or it's shown, you can say, "Oh, you saw this this on Monday's episode. It was a scene where such a body was sat there and kids were on the swings."
Yeah. Do you find that the guests usually are up to date, so you can refer to...
Yeah. You can. You mention it and they say, "Oh yes, of course it was."
Yeah, sure. So, do you also adapt the script? Can you kind of garner what kind of fan they are? Because you have your hardcore fans that have seen it all since the 60s, and then you may have viewers that watch every now and then. Are you free to adapt the script slightly based on who you've got in the audience?
Yeah, because I've got quite a fairly good range of knowledge. If it's a younger group who don't remember the likes of Annie Walker and Ina Sharple as well, I can leave them in the green room and then just talk about maybe more recent characters. Obviously mention them because they're part of history, and obviously they were there right at the very beginning. And if they are fans, they will know of them, but maybe not venture too much to the old days. But on the other side of the coin, if you get the big fans coming in on the coaches and they have a certain age, well, obviously you can have a bit of fun with them as well.
Sure.
I mean, when we used to do the photographs at Key Street behind the bar of the Rovers, we used to, if there was 3 ladies went back, "Oh, here they are, he's eating them out for a minute."
Do you prefer like making the visitors laugh, or do you prefer like the gasps in shot when you're giving them behind the scenes secret? Or...
I like to make them laugh.
Yeah. What's your best anecdote about some funny behind the scenes?
Hey, now you're thinking, there's been that many. I mean, things like in the Rovers. I mean, it's just been over difficult to say, seen everything in that place.
Yeah.
And you get sorts of comedy, especially at the moment with Glenda. I mean, Glenda's one-liners. I love Glenda.
Yeah.
Perfect addition to the Rovers.
Absolutely, yeah, she fits right in, doesn't she? Well, I know it's been a long time that you've been doing this, but have you got any particularly memorable experiences with guests on the tour?
There's one I can't repeat, but no, I just like to see the faces when they see the street for the first time, because some of them it's just they see we come around the corner off Victoria Street and there's a Rovers just in front of them there, and then some of them it's just a gog, they can't believe it, and it's nice.
You've had like proposals and things on the streets, haven't you?
Yeah, normally we get told beforehand to prepare for a proposal, but sometimes they just do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah.
And something else, other events that go on here, like you've done Halloween tours and Christmas tours, haven't you? Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, the Halloween tours, normally they get a face from the past in, usually a villain, of course. I mean, Richard Hillman's made 1 or 2 appearances. Yeah. We've had Pat Phelan as well, just of course, those 2 are previous characters now. Gary Windass has done this as well.
Do you change the scripts at all around those times of year to make it a bit spookier or more festive at Christmas?
Especially if there's been something going on during the year, Halloween-wise, a bit involving a villain. So maybe in this year's script it might be perhaps Stephen Reed, who knows?
Maybe, yeah. Oh, we've never been on one of those tours. We'd love to do that one day, but something that we did really enjoy was the Star Tour that we went on last year when Sally Carman, who plays Abby, was there. Is that have you enjoyed being able to do those?
I've loved those because we Neil, the manager, or Dan, the duty manager, normally just does a quick address to the group first, and then hand back to us to do the big announcement of who it is, because the guests don't know.
No.
It's a random cast member each time, and the guests don't know. So it's a number of times you get asked, "Who are we meeting today? Is it male or female?" Come on, you can tell us and all that. Well, I keep stum.
Do you think that's important?
Yes,
to keep
I do. Yeah.
Who's been some of your favourite cast members that you've been able to introduce?
Last week, Charlotte Jordan, who plays Daisy.
Oh, right.
Because it was like literally the Sunday after
the
acid attack had been aired, so it was very, fresh. And as soon as you mentioned it was Daisy, oh great, and she did photographs, quick word with the guests and all that. So,
yeah, she's lovely.
She is.
Is there anyone on the cast that you'd quite like to do a Star
Tour?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely is Glenda and Evelyn. Because I remember Maureen back in the 70s when she was starring in a sitcom called Agony. Yeah, that was great, and I'd love to have a chat with her about that.
Is there anything that you could offer as advice to anyone who'd be interested in becoming a tour guide?
Live your dream, go for it. Yeah, just apply like I did.
No regrets?
No regrets, none at all. I keep coming back.
Oh yeah, exactly. So Media City's been home to Coronation Street for nearly a decade now, and it has been interesting to see the tour grow and change over the years. So it's been really lovely to see all these adaptations you've made to it. Just before we finish, is there any can you give us like a final sales pitch for anyone who has not seen the tour before, or has maybe seen an older version of it and you'd want to invite to come back?
Yeah, definitely come and see the tour again, because this is the current set, and with filming 6 to 8 weeks in advance, sometimes you might even get to see a spoiler.
Oh yeah, indeed, we've seen 1 or 2 ourselves today.
Yeah.
Well, David, it's been lovely speaking to you again. Thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Very welcome.
And,
I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Fantastic.
The other thing that's really nice that I mentioned a minute ago about other fans, being able to talk to other fans, being around other people.
Yeah, this is for me another real bonus, and another real reason why getting on the Coronation Street tour is such a fun thing to do, because you get to have a natter with people who have a shared interest with you. I don't know whether people have noticed, but we're kind of a little bit obsessed with Coronation Street, so it's always nice to be able to talk to other people who are not just the tour guides, because when we chatted with Michael, we chatted with Rory, we chatted about all big Coronation Street fans, but the people there and being among them and seeing their reactions is so great, because some of them have been on the tour before, but it seems like an awful lot of the people that we see there haven't, and we kind of, we've been on the street. Yes, it feels magical going there, but to see people who get to go there for the first time, and hopefully some people listening to this will be able to go there for their first time as well, just seeing their reactions and the surprise and laughing at all the funny jokes and being shocked at some of the surprising behind the scenes facts and everything, it's just lovely.
Yeah, there's something infectious, isn't there, about other people's enthusiasm sometimes when you and if it's not your first time, you can still kind of enjoy it through someone else's eyes who is like going, wow, I didn't know this. Oh, I can't wait to see the rovers. And it's just a lovely shared experience. And it's nice to be around people who are all kind of there for the same reason, that kind of collective kind of joy of experiencing something that is meaningful to everybody. Because, you know, lots of people are local, but there's also lots of people who've travelled like we have quite a long way to get there, or even further afield. And just to spend a bit of time even if you're not talking to other people, it's just nice to be in the company of other fans.
Well, I also like being in the company of people who aren't necessarily fans but have been dragged along
I think that's really
by
fun.
their partners or
And they
family or
always seem
whatever, and
to
they
get-
always seem to get into it.
They do seem to sort of appreciate as they go around, like, yeah, okay, I get the appeal finally, or it's just such an impressive set, isn't it?
Yeah, and lots of people that we've spoken to have been surprised by, you know, just how much there is there, and how, I mean, there's probably still are people there. They're like, oh, so they don't really film the houses inside, and all that kind of stuff. It's just lovely to be able to be around people like that who are having those first experiences. And then, you know, if you go to the cafe afterwards, then you might want to chat with some people there.
It depends on. I mean, we're both. Well, I can be very chatty with people that I don't know, but I don't want anyone who's a bit more antisocial to think that this is forced social interaction. You don't have to speak to other people, but if you'd like to, there's always a friendly face, isn't there?
I mean, we don't have Coronation Street fan conventions or anything, as much as I would love that. I mean, they did have one. We went to the Corrie Fest, and that was like over 10 years ago now. So this is the closest thing we've got. And everybody likes, you know, being around people who like the same thing as them. And this is just a really lovely opportunity for that.
So when we were on the set tour, we spoke to some people and asked them.
Yes, we accosted some fellow fans and asked them about what they
what
thought
are you doing
about
here?
it.
And
Just
what
to
do you
make sure it
think?
wasn't just us that enjoyed it. You know, they all did enjoy it as well. So, should we cut to a few clips of our fellow fans on the street? So I'm here with Luke and Alex, who've been on the Coronation Street tour with us today. Guys, we'll tell you, what's it been like for you today?
Amazing.
Yeah, brilliant.
Honestly, better than we thought, wasn't it,
Yeah,
really?
really good.
It's just crazy to actually see it all in person, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Love
Is
it.
this the first time you've done the tour?
Yeah,
It is, yeah.
first time.
What's been your favourite bits?
The Rovers.
Yeah, it's gotta be the
definitely.
Rovers, hasn't it?
Always. Just everything, to be honest, but I'd say this main street, it's just iconic, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
amazing. Yeah.
Is there anything that's particularly surprised you?
How small the Rovers is, actually. I think on TV it stretches back quite far, but it looks quite small, doesn't
The whole
it?
set's pretty small, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem that small when you're watching it on the TV, sort of thing. But yeah,
I think it's all a surprise just to see it all in person. It looks as it does, but just smaller in a way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Have you been watching Corrie for a long time?
We have,
Yeah.
on and off, haven't we? Yeah, I mean, I think it's because of our parents, though, isn't it? They're huge
yeah,
fans.
they're massive fans.
And your mum's coming in a couple of weeks, isn't she? And I
Yeah,
think
she
my
is.
mum will be doing the same.
Yeah, so I mean, what would you say? Would you recommend this to Coronation Street fans?
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Always. I mean, I think if you're a huge fan, you would absolutely love it here. You won't want to go home. It's gone too quick. hasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's gone
It
too
has,
quick.
Yeah.
Brilliant, thanks guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Now I'm here with Kieran to tell me a bit about his thoughts on the tour. Kieran, have you had a good time today?
Yeah, fantastic.
What have you enjoyed about it the most?
I just the whole thing is coming. It's like real life now, you know, from watching television for years. Now you see it. It's brilliant. Brilliant.
Any favourite parts today?
Oh, the Rovers has to be my favourite. Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting in for a pint though.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it's good. It's fantastic. You know, just to the memories I'd have from watching it for years and years. It's crazy.
Yeah, amazing to see it in real life.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, fantastic.
So Carol, how have you found the experience on Coronation Street, the tour today?
Very good. It's been interesting.
What have you enjoyed the most?
Looking at all the old houses.
Have you watched Coronation Street for a long time?
Yeah, I've Hilda Aldrin's birds that's on the wall.
Yeah.
I've got them.
Really? What, in your house?
Yeah, they were my grandmother's. Yeah, so I had them.
That's amazing,
Yeah.
wow. Has there been anything that's particularly surprised you on the tour today?
How they block out the pictures and obviously the noise from the back of the main road. But yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So this is Jackie, who's been on the tour with us today. Jackie, how have you found the tour so far?
Oh, it's excellent. Really good. Thank you.
Favourite parts?
Oh, the Rovers return. See, and Jack and Vera's, well,
It's iconic, isn't it? Those
iconic,
cladding, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
so
all of it's great.
Are you a big fan of Coronation Street?
Yeah, I've watched it all my life because my mother watched it, and now my husband watches it as well.
Oh, it's nice to be able to get people in, isn't it?
Exactly.
What are some favourite stories you got going on at the moment?
Well, at the moment, the Daisy story, the pool stories, heartbreaking, all of those, fantastic, and the acting is superb.
Absolutely, totally agree. Well, thanks very much for stopping by today.
All right then, thank you.
So the fourth reason why you need to get yourself to the Coronation Street tour right now is the well,
You
maybe
can't
not.
do it right now.
You can't do the fourth one right now. You need to be a bit canny and check the website for this because it's about the events that go on there. So we just went on a normal tour this time, but we were really lucky last August to be able to get on one of the Star tours there. And this is something that they launched. I think last July was the first one, and it is a real brilliant draw for anyone who wants that little bit extra from their Coronation Street tour experience. So basically how this works is that you'll be taken around the tour as normal, but I mean, assuming this is the same now as when they did it before, you get to the police station and then one of the actual cast of Coronation Street turns up out of there.
They go, boo!
And I think for lots of fans, being able to interact with and meet and have photos with one of the actual characters, one of the cast members there, massive draw. And it's not that much more expensive to do the Star tours.
The thing is, if you're going to the tour, you're going to be there at the weekend, which means you can't loiter at the gates and expect to see actors going back and forth like you might do during the week. So this is going to be your opportunity to see one of them in the flesh.
Yeah.
And you can get your photo taken with them too.
Yeah, so we went last summer and we met Sally Carman, which
Yeah.
I think at the time when we did the podcast then I was saying like, I can't think of anyone who I would like to have seen more. It's like we were so lucky to be able to meet up with Sally and chat with her for a little bit and get the photo
They've
done.
had some really great guests there, haven't they? I don't think you're going to be disappointed. You don't get to find out who it is. It's going to be a surprise. But they've picked some really great people, and last weekend from when we were recording this, Charlotte Jordan was there.
Yeah,
so what a great treat!
Proper hot property of Coronation Street at the moment. I mean, we've seen online just how big her fan base is. So must have been a real treat for the people. I'm a little bit jealous that we missed the Star tour on our trip, to be honest, because it would have been lovely to have had a chat and a photo with her again.
Lovely Tony Maudsley. I'd love to meet him.
Yeah, he did it last year. I think the very first one of them that they did last year was Chris Gaskell.
Now he's
wasn't
a
it?
big
Plays,
catch.
Peter Barlow.
He's a big catch, isn't he?
Yeah,
You would not normally be able to meet some of these actors.
It's really great that some of the cast members will give up an afternoon on a weekend to do this, and honestly it enhances the experience so much.
It really does. It's so much fun.
Yeah, because being out on the street is one thing, but even like we said earlier about getting to go inside the interiors is just a little bit extra that they don't need to do, but it makes it that much better. And the same with being able to go on these Star tours. Incredible. I mean, everyone likes a little celebrity meet-up, don't they?
Yeah, well, I do.
and they don't chat. You can't chat with them for ages because you need to go on through. There's lots of people to get through, but it's brilliant. So I would urge you to keep an eye, if this is seems like something you'd be interested in. Keep an eye on the Coronation Street tour website and see when these dates these dates come up, because they're roughly they kind of look like they're once a month or so. But really, if I was saying if I had lots of weekends free and I was saying which one shall I go for, I think I'd try and go for that. But they do sell out very, very quickly as well.
Yeah,
we've been told, don't we? But that's not the only kind of event that goes on there. They've also had, and this is something that I'd like to be able to
disclaimer
to
alert, we haven't been able to go on one of these, but we've always wanted to go on them.
The Halloween and Christmas events.
Yes. So Coronation Street is what they call the Christmas one.
No, that's a Halloween one, darling.
No, they hate Christmas.
Coronation Street is the Halloween
I'm sorry,
one.
You're correct. Yes, the Halloween event. Now, you guys know I love Halloween. Throughout October, they're gonna they do special scripts.
Well, they did last year.
They have references to spooky happenings and
the villains and where
villains,
people
yeah.
died and everything on the street, and there's like pumpkins and cobwebs and things all over. So and some of them go on into the evening as well because it'll be darker at that time of the year.
It's such a really nice,
different
atmospheric. We've been on the street at night before, and it really does have a magical quality to it because of the cobbles and the kind of.
Yeah.
It just looks so much different.
And last year's Star Tours as well had some...
for the Christmas Coronation Street.
No, well, for the Halloween... Shut up. The Halloween ones had some villainous guests turn up. So I think that was where Mikey North did one, who plays Gary Windass.
I think he's
there. Brian Capron was there, who was Richard Hillman. Conor McIntyre showed up there. So it was really nice that they were able to theme their villains to the Coronation Street death, destruction, and general villainous.
And then at Christmas time, they do a Halloween themed event.
Shut up.
No, they have Christmas on the cobbles. Festive grandeur, Yuletide cheer.
Apparently they had carol singers and everything. I think that sometime we need to go there when they're doing these events. I want to assume they're going to carry on doing them this year. So maybe we need to make yet another trip up towards the end of this year to go and see that.
Really, really love to do a Star Tour for the horror Coronation Street.
Yeah. We did Christmas on the cobbles at the Quay Street set.
Yeah,
didn't
we did. Yeah,
and that was really lovely. That when you go out of the bistro, you used to go out of the bistro onto the street, and they had like fake snow coming down and everything, which was lovely. And it was all dressed up. It was a little bit different back then because when the Quay Street tour was open as a set, it was not a working set anymore. It was after they closed down.
They could dress things a bit more elaborately.
And
they have to worry about continuity.
Yeah, let's take it. Yeah, because nowadays anything they put up for the tour, they have to take down for the filming on Monday. But if you're looking for little Christmas or spooky treat towards the end of the year, then maybe that's the sort of thing you'd like to go along to. So really great that and I think this is something that I'm imagining that as time goes by, they'll continue to work on this, having theming and reasons to come back and events and stuff. So they at the visitors centre just recently they did like a comedy night there, didn't they?
That's right.
Not Coronation Street themed
it's just an event,
but because they've got all these new event spaces in the visitor centre. There looks like there'll be more and more reasons to get yourself over to the Coronation Street studios if you can. Is it just at times like this that makes me feel a little bit
left out?
Living all the way down south in Southampton, we can't just say, "Oh, you know what? Should we pop along to the Coronation Street comedy
travel
night
for 5 hours?"
But to go on the tour itself, absolutely worth the travel. And if you're nearby and you fancy popping along to one of these events, I would say just do it.
I'm a sucker for Christmas and Halloween stuff. That's the time of year when I'm just loving going to themed things. So this is right up my street.
See what you did there. Let's go on to our final reason why you should get onto Coronation Street tour right now. So our final reason about why you should go on the Coronation Street tour, we think, is that there is always something new there. Or at least there has been for us. We mentioned earlier about the fact that every time we've been there, it's got better and better. And on our recent tour, I was quite surprised about how new it felt. Even as, we went last summer, we've done the tour 3, 4, 5, I've lost count now.
I don't remember.
And today felt like the freshest that it ever has done, partly because of the route changing and just starting off round by the police station, working your way down to the street itself, going inside the shops. That was all new for us. But obviously the biggest draw in the newly announced stuff is the visitors centre itself. Now we've held off from talking about that too much so far, but this has now been announced. It's coming very, very soon, and I can't wait to get there and see the finished version. But we did get to see a bit of a sneak peek, didn't we? I think what I'm particularly really looking forward to is the exhibition floor. But let's talk a little bit about what we did get to see downstairs of the new bit, because they've done like a soft launch of a few features, haven't they?
If you haven't been recently and you were there for the sort of beginnings of the Media City tour, you would have gone to a marquee for the shop, and it was quite sparse. There were some cool things in there, but there wasn't quite a lot, was there?
No. I mean, there was enough, but I was very pleasantly surprised to see what new things there were on display this time. Like, every time we've been, there's been some new stock.
Now, I love shopping, and this little shop is like full of stuff that I want. 5 of everything. They've got some Freshco's bags in there, which is like my favourite new thing.
Oh my gosh, that was, as soon as we saw those, we knew we had to have a Freshco's bag. We're going to be parading that around Lidl next time we go.
Oh, definitely. They've got the travel mugs, the Coronation Street brick themed travel mugs. They've got like there's something for everybody, depending on what your budget is, because they've got the magnets and the what are they called? They're magnets, aren't they?
Magnets.
Fridge magnets and things like that, and pens and stuff. But they've also got Wonky Duck gin.
Oh, yeah, they do.
And the glasses, too.
Oh, yeah, gin glass. Oh, we should have got a gin glass.
And
maybe
the
we need to go
coaster.
back and get one.
Coasters.
Yeah,
for,
brand new coaster there this time.
They've got the mug, the Rovers Return mugs with the etching on the glass.
Yeah.
They've got umbrellas.
Do you mean mug or do you mean beer glass?
Beer glass. What did I say?
You said mug. No
I don't
mugs.
know what I'm saying. There are mugs.
Yes, there are some mugs.
Yes.
But yeah.
There's not a Rovers Return mug.
No, there is not.
There's the Roy's Rolls bag and apron.
Yeah, I love all the in-universe stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's my favourite.
That's why this Freshco's bag was a must-buy here. I mean, I like things that say Coronation Street on them to show like I'm a Corrie fan, but the things I love most are the things that like, oh, it's really real. and the bag, the Roy's Rolled apron, the Rovers Return, a few like the beer mug, beer mat, and everything there in the glass. That's the stuff that really appeals to me. And what I also like, and this has changed over the years as well, is that a lot of the things that are Coronation Street themed are not Coronation Street the Tour themed. I would rather have something that says Coronation Street on than Coronation Street the Tour. As much as I love the Tour now, my true love is Coronation Street. So the magnets now, for example, say Coronation Street rather than Coronation Street the Tour, and I think that was honestly a good move to make that change. I mean, the other new thing that is available now that we weren't expecting was the Trim Up North gear.
I love that. I bought a t-shirt.
Gemma has bought a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So
they had
hoodies. Like she cuts my hair.
Yeah, and they also had a tiny little Emmerdale kiosk, didn't they?
Oh yeah. So if you like Emmerdale as well, you can get things from David's shop.
Yeah, but the Freshco's thing and the Trim Up North stuff, those were my 2 new favourite pieces of merch.
Yeah.
And that's where you can also get your photos at the end and everything. Yeah. They also now have a cafe and a little waiting area with the loos. That aren't in the porter cabin anymore, which is nice.
That is an advantage.
And the little cafe is really nice. They've got like sandwiches and cakes and drinks, and apparently the hot chocolate is very good.
Yeah, so we have heard. Yeah. So yeah, you could, while you're waiting to go in there, you can sit and have a drink, and this is where you can chat with other fans if you want to while you're waiting. They've got a big screen there where they were showing the first episode of Coronation Street.
No sound though. They should have had subtitles. I bet there aren't subtitles for that. I don't know.
I think somebody's probably written them at some point, to be honest.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, so that was just really nice being able to sit in there, and we've been on the tour before, and we were waiting around in the car park and everything. So, but this is so much cozier. And then once they're ready for you, they call you up and you queue up, and then you go into what's my favourite new addition to the tour, which is the cinema experience. Now, if you remember again, the Key Street tour, in the old set. This is where they had a cafe area there as well. I think there, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
But they also had a little cinema room where you could go and see compilation of clips, and I just love this, and I can watch these clips as many times as over and over again, and I still get a little ain't Coronation Street great sort of feeling when we're watching it. This was what, is it 9 minutes, was it?
There's 3 songs, and it's kind of action and audio kind of themed, or to the songs. It's so well edited. The clips are great. I love
it. Just
the
gets
ones
you in
they've
the mood
selected.
for what you're about to
Makes
see.
you reminisce. It's very nostalgic. There's something for every fan of every era, because there's
there's lots of modern stuff in
across.
there, but there's
it's
also
mostly modern stuff.
There's mostly modern stuff, but I mean it's mostly colour stuff. but some of the colour stuff is even like in the 80s and 90s, and there's some like the Raquel scenes, and there's Bet, and there's Jack and Vera.
I'm sure your favourite will be in there.
Yeah, there's a good mixture I found. So I didn't know what to expect with this, but there's a good mixture of tried and tested clips, like, you know, the pals scene, and what's some other classic clips?
There are no other classic clips.
There's I don't want to spoil it for
Deirdre
you.
throwing a trifle.
Yeah, Deirdre's. I didn't do any of it
Deirdre
as
being
well.
attacked by Ken, everyone's
Wasn't
favourite.
just Deirdre.
Domestic violence.
Roy
scene.
and Hayley having a paddle at Blackpool.
Yeah.
There's that kind of stuff there. But then there's also some clips that you maybe have
Hilda,
forgotten, and maybe you haven't
Annie.
seen since they were originally broadcast.
I loved it so much.
It
I
was
want
really
a copy
good.
of it.
I know. I
want to watch it on a loop. So you sit and you watch that in the little cinema, and that's a really nice way to start.
And it was. I really enjoyed like the audience were laughing along at the funny bits as well, and going, "Oh, I remember that." It's just lovely, and I mean, it was great in the old tour, just, you know, getting in, getting out onto the street. But this, it does get you in the mood, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It revs you up for it. It's just lovely, just lovely stuff. Like you said, really well edited together, and it's what the tour needed. And honestly, I couldn't recommend this more now. It's come on leaps and bounds in recent years, and it's just a fab experience. It's you know, an hour and a half, isn't it?
Well, it's an hour and a half tour, but you feel like you're getting a lot more value because you can hang around more. It's actually a place to go to, whereas the tour used to be, here we go, let's go, right now.
Yeah, you're in, you're out.
But now you can sit down, have a cup of tea, talk about what you're going to see, talk about what you've seen, go in the shop, browse about.
Yeah.
It's just a really nice place just to sit.
Yeah. And of course, the brand new bit that we sadly didn't get to see the final version of, but we did get a sneak peek of it.
Yes,
is
we
the
did.
exhibition floor. And
this is going to be amazing.
This is going to be opening soon, and we are going to be straight over there to have a look at it, because we've had a chat with some of the people working on the tour, and it really seems like it's a mega draw for a Coronation Street
They've
fan.
thought really hard about what people want from this space, haven't they? And
so where it is, where you kind of curve round to go into the cinema at the beginning, there's some stairs there that you'll be able to go up and have a tour around, and there's like a fairly big, I'm rubbish at estimating area, so I will say
5
fairly
miles
big
long
at this point. It's got a room that will be divided up into segments. I think sometimes when you see a space and you think, oh, that's not so big, but they're going to divide it into different areas, aren't they? And have some old sets there. They're going to have a Roy set and of course the Rovers set. And I think being able to go inside the Rovers was such a massive draw of the old Key Street set. It's brilliant that they're bringing that back, and it's not the exact Rovers, but they're
there are
bringing
elements.
in
There are
proper
original
replicas
elements.
of it. Yeah, there's a few original elements there, but that's going to be brilliant. And even
you'll be able to have your photo take. Well,
yeah, you'll be able to get your photo taken with the Rovers there. You'll be able to walk through the sets as well, and this is something that stood out to me as making it even better than the old one. Because I remember going to the Key Street set, and they had like I think Fizz and Tyrone's house was there, the Platt's house was there.
Carla's flat was there.
Yeah, and you could just walk past them. But the way that this is going to be...
Because they were almost like dressed sets. So in
no touching.
Yeah, in Corrie, the dress set just means that it's all
ready to film in.
Continuity is all, you can't mess around with it because it's been on screen and it has to stay that way.
Yeah, but with this you'll be able to have a touch and feel of things, maybe, I'm not sure. And then they're planning to have like information boards. We were talking with Neil, we've got an interview with him that we'll put in later. Neil Curry, who's one of the managers there. And he showed us a little presentation about some of the extra bits that they're hoping to include in there. It honestly, it feels like it's going to be, for some people, it may even be the highlight of the tour. I don't know, being able to see some of those interior sets. But if you've been on the tour before and you won't have seen this, and I mean, it definitely seems like it's going to be worth coming back to.
Yeah, the plans they've got for this are really exciting. We were so everything that we were talking about or being shown is like, this is great. This is great. This is exactly what.
They're going to have some props there. They're going to have some classic photos on the wall.
Yeah.
It's it's just going to be once it's all done, a real complete feeling experience, I think.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming. You know, on the podcast, we've been tracking the development of this visitor centre for quite a few years now. So the fact that we're on the brink of it being opened is just brilliant.
Well, now we've got this interview that you did with Neil, and
Yes.
there's going to be a few more details and bits and bobs that he's going to talk to you about in the past.
Yes.
But now it's the future for you, because it's about to happen.
Don't confuse me. Let's cut to Neil.
So now I'm joined by Neil Curry, the guest experience manager at Coronation Street The Tour. He's been giving us a sneak peek of the visitor centre that's going to be opening up really soon, and he's kindly agreed to come on the podcast today to speak to us about what guests can expect to see when they come on the tour themselves. And Neil, thank you for joining me today.
Absolute no worries, absolute pleasure, Mike.
So we've been following the construction of this visitor centre for quite a long time now, as I'm sure you have. It must be really exciting that it's nearly ready. How are you finding it now? It's finally nearly ready to open.
Yeah, I think obviously the wait's been a long way, but it's definitely going to be worth it. I think all my team, including myself, are really excited for the launch of the exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
We've obviously had the visitor centre open at the start of the season, which has saw ground floor of the cafe, the cinema, and the new retail shop, which has been a great success. Now it is about kind of getting this first floor ready, and yeah, we are getting ready to open for our guests.
Yeah, no, although we've not been able to see the full exhibition floor quite yet, we did really enjoy the film earlier before we went out on the street. That was fantastic. How would you say that enhances the experience for guests who come on Coronation Street?
I think it enhances massively the experience. So obviously the film really sets a tone for what the tour is going to be, and really does whet the appetite pretty much for the guests once they do step onto them cobbles. I think the exhibition as well, with it going to be at the end of the guest experience with us, I think now it's going to be a real kind of, you do the tour, and that's not just what we offer. We offer the exhibition space as well, which is after the tour. So I think now it's going to be pretty much action, information packed for the guests who have their experience with us.
So how's that exhibition tour going to work then? Do you do the tour on the street first and then into the exhibition, or the other way around? Or?
Yeah, so you obviously go into the cinema and then you go into the tour itself with the tour guide. After you do finish your tour, the tour guide will then kind of escort you onto the first floor where the exhibition space is. There's a lot to kind of see in the exhibition space. We've kind of split the exhibition space into 5 different themes, which is home, community, relationships, work, and coming together. And with that, you kind of, the fans of the show, the guests, will really immerse themselves in Coronation Street. And whilst they will see the exterior set, they'll be able to immerse themselves in actual sets, props, and more.
So tell me about some of the sets that we'll be able to see.
Yes, so there's going to be 3 sets confirmed. Of course, you can't have interior sets without the Rover's return. All really full to life scale sets. They're going to be really impressive, and as I'm sure you've seen, they are really impressive at the moment. But yeah, we're just really looking forward to open even the Rover's doors to the guests for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Will there be photo opportunities for guests?
There will indeed. If I'm sure there's a lot of fans of the show that visited Key Street many years ago, where they was able to get their photos behind the Rovers, which we've always seen online, was a massive kind of photo opportunity. So that will be returning. Guests will be able to be the landlord, landlady of the Rovers return yet again, which is great.
Are you trying to really get back some of the feeling of the sets, the props and everything that you had at the Key Street set but have not been able to do so far?
100%. And whilst Key Street was obviously massively successful, I think moving to Media City, it was completely different. Whilst in many ways the tour is the same and it is the same brand and everything like that, it is completely different. We're obviously very lucky to be touring on the main set of Coronation Street. And now again, we're building kind of fundamentals and foundations to try and get that feeling back of it isn't just a tour, it's a lot more than the tour. And I think having the interior sets and everything like that is a great kind of start to getting that feeling back.
Yeah. Now you said there's going to be some props and from classic props that we'll be able to see. What kind of things can we expect?
The only thing I want to say is Deirdre's glasses for now. Deirdre's glasses is going to make a return, and I think that is a prop that everyone mentions to us. It is an iconic prop. So Deirdre's glasses will definitely be making an appearance in the exhibition space, along with a lot more. Whether you are in a set in the exhibition space, whether you're looking at props, you will constantly be immersed with the actual with the experience itself once you're in there.
Will the sets be changing as the year goes on to like for Christmas, Halloween, and so on?
So it's something we're looking into, and there's nothing confirmed as of yet. But there isn't whilst at the moment it doesn't take long to kind of put a set up, production nowadays they can kind of rip up sets very quickly. So potentially kind of down the line would look towards changing sets, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. So how's it going to work then? Will you be able to just have a free reign to wander yourself, or is that going to be a guided experience as well?
So it's going to be a free kind of range. So obviously we have 50 people on every tour. So once you get in the exhibition space, that is your time to kind of tour the exhibition space at your own pace and kind of really take in what is right in front of you. Because as I say, there's going to be 62 years of props, of sets that you do have to intake. So we're encouraging, I guess, and fans of the show to really spend as much time as you want up there. Your tour guide will lead you to it. However, they will be on the exhibition floor for a period of time. If you have any questions, if you want a little guide around, you're more than welcome to ask. But there'll also be a team member as well with a wealth of knowledge to kind of relay onto you as well.
So that sounds really, really interesting. There's also in the visitor centre here, we've got a new shop with loads of Corrie merch.
Yeah.
What are some hot items there that fans can buy?
Yeah, so to be honest, we keep expanding our range, and we're going to continue to keep expanding our range. There's some things in the pipeline at the moment which is really exciting. More recently, we've had the travel mugs, Coronation Street travel mugs added. That was added in the past few weeks. They've been really, really popular. Obviously, your Trump North t-shirts are really popular for the character kind of things, and then your Kent Barlow mugs, your Roy's Rose aprons, and your tote bags. It always is a character kind of things, because obviously everyone wants to be Roy Cropper in the cafe, without a doubt. But again, it's stuff like the magnets, which we've had for many years. Everyone loves kind of a souvenir such as that. So every product in their own right is really popular, but I would say the character range.
Yeah, I really like all the in-universe stuff, particularly. So
yeah.
I guess I think I've been to the Rovers and I
100%, 100%. And we've got beer mats now, which look very, very good. And as I say, we've expanded our product range this year massively, and we're continuing to get stuff approved, signed off. So we're going to continue to expand on that character and universal kind of product line, which is great.
So that's hopefully going to get people coming back time and time again. Is that something that you're really aiming for, to get people visiting the tour more than once?
Absolutely, and I think with the beauty of being a tour on a live working set is that there's consistent changes with the production. Whereas at Quay Street, it was very much that set is done now. There's no developments. There's ongoing developments, and there's going to be spoilers that you may see. Obviously, we ITV film 6 weeks in advance, so there might be spoilers that you do see on set. So there's a repeatability factor. But obviously, with our recent kind of events of Coronation Street, Christmas on the Cobbles, we now have an event which is very unique to guests. No matter if you've been 5 or 6 times or it's your first time, you're going to get a very unique experience, and we are looking at kind of promoting and hosting a lot more of those.
And finally, downstairs this morning we got to see the cafe, which is brand new for the visitor centre as well. You found anything particular that you'd recommend guests trying?
The hot chocolate, without a doubt. The really good product range on our cafe, and again we're looking at expanding that even further. I think the beauty of the cafe is a grab and go, so you can get your hot drinks, you can get your light snacks, and you can go on tour. We do also have kind of wraps, sandwiches and stuff like that, which are very, very nice. So yeah, get yourself down to the cafe at the very least, and get a hot chocolate, as I said.
And is it right that this is going to be open during the week as well?
Yes, so we're planning to open during the week, and it will either come at the same time the exhibition is launched or not long after. So it's going to be a slightly different offering to the weekend. Obviously, we don't have the quiet luxury of having the street because production will be in the thick of it, filming on the street. However, we do have a very unique experience in the visitor centre itself, which will of course entail the exhibition, and it will be a snippet of the price of an actual ticket. So it's going to be in many ways a different experience to your weekend kind of experience you would have on a tour.
Fantastic, thank you very much.
Absolutely, pleasure. Cheers, thank you.
Thank you very much, Neil, for having a chat with us and showing us round. Really
Neil,
nice guy.
Neil and Dave and Rory and Andy
were all very, very welcoming.
Yes, and Michael were all really nice and really friendly and very took a lot of time out of their day to help us put this together. So thank you to them, and I'm just so excited. I can't wait to see what this looks like.
I know. I can't wait.
It's going to be amazing. So those are our reasons. 5 reasons.
5 reasons.
If you needed 5 reasons, those are 5. And in those reasons are sub-reasons. So I'm going to estimate, like, mathematically speaking, there are about 3,000 reasons to go on the tour.
It's really, really worth it. It's got better and better every time we've been there, and I just had the most lovely day.
Even though we were working.
We were working away, taking
you.
photos and videos and everything, and getting interviews and everything.
Such hard work.
It was just brilliant. The sun was shining. They've made massive improvements to the tour. The visitor centre's looking lovely.
Great script, great merch.
Get yourself up there.
Great visitor centre. Great tour, and it's Coronation Street. It's why we're all here, isn't it?
You only need one reason, really, don't you? It's Coronation
Mm-hmm.
Street, and I think if you listen to a Coronation Street podcast, you probably quite like it.
I think you might be the target audience.
You might be. I think should we call it a day there?
Yes. Thank you for listening to this bonus episode. I hope that we managed to convey our glee with you today.
I'm feeling very gleeful.
And also, if you get to go on the tour, please do write in and let us know what happened and what you enjoyed and bits and things that might have surprised you. Because, like we said, even after having done this podcast for like nearly 11 years now, having been to 2 different sets, having done tours and behind the scenes, and being having little tours with the actors and things, even today there were still things that
new things that we'd not seen. I mean, like, I hadn't noticed before. I hadn't had a proper look at the map that's at the bus stop, for example.
You have to look at these details; they're so interesting.
It's like a map of the Salford area, but it's got Weatherfield
written on it instead.
You can't see Coronation Street on there, but there's always something new to see. So many little hidden details that I'd stay all day there if I could, to be honest.
Just live there.
Yeah, should we just sneak in there?
Why not?
Right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you very much, Coronation Street, the tour, for letting us come by again and do the filming and interview some of you and everything. And I just really hope that all these new additions that they're adding to it make it worth it. And, even the fact that they are opening during the week, I hope that all goes well for them as well.
I think that's great.
That's a really good idea. Because there's Corrie fans all the time.
Yes.
We're Corrie fans 7 days a week, not just the weekend.
In fact, it's harder to be a Corrie fan at the weekend because it's not on.
Very true. Right. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.